Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams. Thank you for joining in for our Chaitanya Charitamrita session today. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing with the study of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. So the last time we were studying Chaitanya Charitamrita, we were discussing about how everything is conscious in the spiritual world. The table is conscious, the tree is conscious. And what are they conscious about? They are conscious about always wanting to serve Lord Sri Krishna, always wanting to please Lord Sri Krishna. So that is the consciousness of everything in the spiritual world, where nothing is inanimate. Everything is everyone is aspiring to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let's start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadhaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dvishe Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrapaatamaham mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyamishwaram Hari Om Tatsat Gurave Gaurachandraya Adhikaya Taraliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Ajanulambito Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaikkapitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambarao Dvijavarao Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagatpriyakaro Karunavataro. Hare Krishna. So let's continue from where we left off last week. We're discussing about how everything in the spiritual world, everyone in the spiritual world, whether animate or inanimate, whether stavara janga, whatever may be, plants, trees, creepers, they're all spiritual entities who want to serve, satisfy, and please Lord Sri Krishna. So that is the nature of the even inanimate objects in the spiritual world. That's where we left off last week. Let's continue reading. It is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by imagination or by some imperfect method. The Vedic literatures give real information of what lies beyond the material universe, right? So here, what we see, what Prabhupada is saying here, is that I'm reminded of a pastime or a story or a story actually told by, I think, one of the classes, one of the devotees. I think Prabhupada only mentioned the story, right? He was talking about a frog in the well, right? There is a frog in the well, and there is a frog from the ocean who comes to meet this frog whose friend is the frog in the well. He tells this frog in the well that, why are you stuck in the small space? You come with me. I will take you into the ocean. There is so much space to move around. There is so much space to freely move around and have a good time. But this frog was not understanding. This frog was asking, okay, I will come with you, but how big is that? How big is that ocean you're saying? Is it 2 times this well? Is it 3 times this well? And this frog is saying, you cannot compare with this. That is so big. It is so wonderful. You should come. But this frog was not keen, because this frog is still trying to understand how big is it in comparison to the well that I'm in. Is it 2 times? Is it 5 times? Is it 10 times? So in that way, we are also so caught up in this material world. that we don't want to go back to the spiritual world where everything is eternal, everything is Satchit Ananda. But we want to check, okay, here also I'm getting some little bit of happiness. What is the happiness I will get there? So for that, I have to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, so much austerities. What could be the happiness there? Could it be 10 times more than this? But the austerities that perform is much, much more than that. So in that way, we do a comparison, right? But we don't understand because of our material intelligence and our and our tendency to enjoy so much. If you want to understand what is the enjoyment we'll get in the spiritual world, will it be 10 times this? Oh, is it worth performing devotional service? Why should I go back there? That's a frog mentality. That is a frog in the well mentality. But when we understand that the spiritual world is no comparison to what is there in this material world, right? So whatever happiness you are experiencing in this world is just as a perverted reflection of what is the love that is experienced in the spiritual world. So when you understand that, you want to do anything and everything that it takes to want to go back to Godhead, to reawaken our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Okay, so devotees who would like to read can raise your hands. Let me continue reading now. Okay, Shamba Priya Mataji wants to read. Okay, go ahead. Since it is not possible to obtain from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Since it is not possible to obtain information of anything beyond this material nature by experimental means, those who believe only in experimental knowledge may doubt the Vedic conclusions. For such people cannot even calculate how far this universe extends, nor can they reach far into the universe itself. That which is beyond our power of conception is called achintya, inconceivable. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation. Our energy is limited and our sense perceptions is limited. Therefore, we must rely on the Vedic conclusions regarding that subject matter which is inconceivable. Knowledge of the superior nature must simply be accepted without argument. How is it possible to argue about something to which we have no access? The method for understanding the transcendental subject matter is given by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells Arjuna at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam protvan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ishvaka abravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to son god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed to Ishvaku, BG 4.1. This is a method of parampara or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains the Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma, first created being within the universe. Brahma imparted those lessons to his disciple Narada. Narada imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted it to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge came down to Madhavendra Puri and then to Ishwara Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may ask that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then why did he need a spiritual master? Of course, he did not need a spiritual master. He did not need a spiritual master, but because he was playing the role of an acharya, one who teaches by example, he accepted a spiritual master. When Krishna himself accepted a spiritual master, well, that is the system. In this way, the Lord sets the example for men. We should not think, however, the Lord takes a spiritual master because he is in want of knowledge. He is simply stressing the importance of accepting a disciplic succession. The knowledge taught in that disciplic succession actually comes from the Lord himself, and if the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through the process of transmission. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that Krishna, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, transmitted transcendental knowledge into the heart of Brahma. This, then in one way, knowledge is received through the heart. Thus, there are two processes by which one may receive knowledge. One depends directly upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated as the super soul within the heart of all living beings. And the other depends on the Guru or the spiritual master, who is an expansion of Krishna. Thus, Krishna transmits information both from within and from without. We simply have to receive it. If knowledge is received in this way, it does not matter whether it is inconceivable or not. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a good. Hare Krishna, thank you.
So, this Aroha Panta and Avaroha Panta. right? One way is to speculate, like this frog was asking, okay, how big is it? Is it 10 times bigger, 20 times bigger, like that? So what is the happiness of the spiritual world? Is it going to be 10 times the happiness I'm experiencing here in this material world? So that is Aroha Pantha. That means, okay, I use my intelligence, I use my understanding, okay, this does not work, maybe this will work, okay, if I do this, then if I study this, then I will be able to do. But we don't understand that with our material intelligence, we cannot understand transcendental subject matters. So our Aroha Pantha is a complete failure. So what is the method we need to adopt to understand transcendental subject matters? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya padikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna, when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, practically demonstrates how to do this. And Krishna himself, he took Sandipani Muni as his guru, and he and Sudama, actually they went, they have to fetch wood every day, firewood for his guru, right? So in that way you render service to the guru, and the Lord is not in need of knowledge. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, sarvasya jaham rati sannivishto mata smritirjnanam apohanam. Krishna is only giving the knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. So why does Krishna have to go to a guru? Again Prabhupada answers that, right? What does he say? Yat yat acharati shreshtas tat tat evetoro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. Lokastat, the mass, the people, the common people will follow the leader. And hence Krishna, although he is the Supreme Lord, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are also receiving this transcendental knowledge from a bona fide guru who is coming in a bona fide disciplic succession. So this knowledge is to be received in Avaroha Pantha, in the descending form or in the descending way, right from Krishna, and all coming in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara, which is one of the 4 bona fide paramparas. And Prabhupada clearly explains here how Krishna gave this knowledge to Brahma, then Narada, then Vyasa. In this way it's coming down to Madhavendra Puri. And then, so Madhvacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that. And it comes down to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all of his disciples. So this is the way by which we receive the transcendental knowledge in our heart. How? By inquiring submissively and also serving according to the instructions of the Guru. In that way, we will receive transcendental knowledge in our heart. And Krishna also tells, Deshamevanukampatam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavasto jnana deepena vashvata. So Krishna will light the lamp of transcendental knowledge in the heart of those who are performing devotional service, beginning with the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam. That is seva, right? And the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, following the instructions of somebody who is coming in the bona fide Guru Parampara. There. All right, let's go ahead. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems, which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to the Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. Sound is very important in Vedic understanding, for it is pure, it is accepted as authoritative. Even in the material world, we accept a great deal of information sent thousands of miles by telephone or radio. In this way, we also accept sound as evidence in our daily lives. Although we cannot see the informant, we accept this information as valid on the basis of sound. Sound vibration then is very important in the transmission of Vedic knowledge. So there are 3 kinds of pramanas which are explained in the Shastras. One is called Pratyaksha Praman. Pratyaksha Praman means I believe what I see. I have to see, I have to experiment, I have to understand. That is Pratyaksha Praman. Doesn't work. Prabhupada tells in Ishopanishad, he says that if there is no sun, in a dark room, when we are sitting inside, we cannot even see our own hands. We cannot even see ourselves in a dark room. We need the light of the sun to be able to see ourselves. And what is it that we will see? And understand transcendental subject knowledge, right? So Pratyaksha Praman is ruled out. It does not work. It will not work. Second is Anuman. Anuman means what the scientists are using. What is that? Okay, I will use my intelligence. I will make assumptions. I will go through that scientific experiments, and in this way, I will prove that how we can attain that the Supreme Lord That is Anuman. I will make this assumption. Okay, so this does not work. I'm not able to chant Hare Krishna, so I think this method will not work. Okay, then let me study Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I cannot understand. This is too complicated. Okay, this will also not work. Okay, then let me go to the forest and meditate on the Lord. Oh, this is also not working, right? And we have become so frustrated because we are taking a lot of assumptions according to our mental concoctions, and that also does not work. So what is it that works? So Prabhupada is talking about Shabda Praman. Shabda means the sound transmission. Again, this sound has to be what is received in a bona fide disciplic succession, starting from Lord Shri Krishna himself, right? In 4.2, Krishna says, right? Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo viduhu sakalaneh mata yogo nashtaha parantapa. So Krishna tells Arjuna that I am giving you the signs of transcendental knowledge again, because the signs that I originally instructed to Vivaswan, the sun god, seems to have been, right? So this disciplic succession is so important that if there is a break in between, then the Lord has to personally come to create the disciplic succession. That is why we cannot assume that any parampara is a good parampara. No, parampara is also given. Only the 4 bona fide paramparas we have to hear from. That is Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava parampara, Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sanat Kumara Sampradaya. All of them started with this parampara started by Lord Shri Krishna himself, given to Lord Shiva, to Lakshmi Devi, to Kumaras, and to Brahmaji. So in this way, if we follow one of these paramparas, we can understand what is inconceivable. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva. In this material world, we cannot understand something is equal to something and something is not equal to something. Yesterday, my daughter was studying, physics, all those experiments. Hence proved this is equal to this. That means that cannot be equal to that. When we say something is equal to something, it cannot be equal to the same thing. But then we are seeing in transcendental subject matters, it is beyond our intelligence, it is beyond our conceivability that something can be equal and something can be at the same time not equal. Achintya abheda bheda tattva, inconceivably oneness and difference. Right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told how the Jiva is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in terms of quality, in terms of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. But the Jiva is infinitesimal in comparison to the infinite Supreme Lord in terms of Sat Chit Ananda, in terms of quantity. Right? Prabhupada gives an example of a spark of fire and fire. The fire can burn the entire forest. That is the potency of the Lord. Whereas the potency of the living entity, just give me 1 second, devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Okay. So, what was I saying? So, in the spiritual parlance, when we have to understand certain things, then we have to be dependent on the Guru Parampara. We have to understand by serving and inquiring submissively from our Guru who is coming in the bona fide Guru Parampara. Then we will be able to understand that we are equal to the Lord in quality, but we are not equal to the Lord in quantity, right? I was talking about fire, which burns the entire forest. That is the unlimited potency of the Lord. Whereas the spark of fire, when it falls out of the fire, it will just get diffused in a second. That is our potency. Right? Similarly, Prabhupada talks about the ocean and a drop of water in the ocean. So you should understand that I am part and parcel of the Lord, and I need to understand all these subject matters by surrendering to the Guru who has realized the transcendental subject matters. In that way, I will be able to understand these spiritual subject matters like that. Okay, let's continue reading. Okay, Shobha Mataji, go ahead. And then Sindhu Mataji and then Deval Mataji. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji and Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Where should I start, Mataji?
The Vedas inform us that beyond this cosmic
The Vedas inform us that beyond this cosmic manifestation, there are extensive planets in the spiritual sky. The material manifestation is regarded as only a small portion of the total creation. The material manifestation includes not only this universe, but innumerable others as well. But all the material universes combined constitute only 1/4 of the total creation. The remaining 3/4 is situated in the spiritual sky. In that sky, innumerable planets float, and these are called Vaikuntha Lokas. In every Vaikuntha Loka, Narayana presides with his 4 expansions: Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. This Sankarshana states, Krishnadasa Kaviraja, in the 8th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is Lord Nityananda. As stated before, the material universes are manifested by the Lord in the form of Mahavishnu, just as a husband and wife combine to beget offspring. Mahavishnu combines with his wife Maya or material nature. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14 chapter 4 shloka where Krishna says सर्व सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तया सम्भवान्ति यः तासां ब्रह्म महत्योनिरहं बीजप्रदापिता. It should be understood that all the species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Vishnu impregnates Maya, the material nature, simply by glancing at her. This is the spiritual method. Materially, we are limited to impregnating by only one particular part of our body. But the Supreme Lord Krishna or Mahavishnu can impregnate by any part. Simply by glancing, the Lord can conceive countless living entities in the womb of material nature. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord is so powerful that any part of his body can perform the functions of any other part. We can touch with our hands or skin, but Krishna can touch just by glancing. We can see only with our eyes, we cannot touch or smell with them. Krishna, however, can smell and also eat with his eyes. When food is offered to Krishna, we do not see him eating, but he eats simply by glancing at the food. We cannot imagine how things work in the spiritual world, where everything is spiritual. It is not that Krishna does not eat or that we imagine that he eats. He actually eats, but his eating is different from us. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual platform. On that platform, every part of the body can act on behalf of any other part. Vishnu does not require
Mataji.
Haribol. Thank you, Mataji. That's
अंगानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पन्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वाल विग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji, who is our Adi Guru, right? We are all followers of Brahmaji, who is our Adi Guru. Why? Because we are followers of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara, right? And here also Nityananda Prabhu is also described. Nityananda Prabhu is not different from Balaram. Just like Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna, similarly Nityananda Prabhu is our original Adi Guru, who is an expansion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? We say this prayer. What is that prayer? Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Sa Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. Right? In that, the devotional manifestation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Krishna, when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appears in 5 features. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu and Lord Sadashiv combined. Then Gadadhar Pandit is Srimati Radharani. Right? It is said that when Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani, whatever else was left of Radharani, she came as Gadadhar Pandit, right? And there are so many pastimes, Gaur Gadadhar, right? Between Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar, where they read the Prahlad Maharaj pastimes, Dhruv Maharaj pastimes in Tota Gopinath temple. So in this way, Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani herself, right? And Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni, who comes. So these are the 5 features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are whose mercy we want to pray for before we chant Hare Krishna or before we offer any kind of devotional service. We are requesting for the mercy of Panchatattva. Why? Because we are not pure enough to directly serve Radha Krishna. So we are asking for the mercy of Panchatattva. So as we offer our Bhoga, like yesterday all of us were fasted till noon for Vamana Dvadashi. And then we had Ekadashi Prasadam, and in the morning today, it was between 10:09 and 10:23 or something like that, 10 to 11 minutes. And it is like Annamayam, Pranamayam, isn't it? We were offered everything and we are ready to break our fast. If you don't eat for one day Anna, then we are thinking, oh my God, I'm losing all the strength like that. But the Lord is not like that. The Lord is like, he just glances on the food and he is already relished. like that. And Prabhupada also talks about how the procreation, right? We all can use one particular sense to do one particular function. With our eyes only we can see, and we have to put that anna into our mouth to experience the joy of anna, and the tongue is satisfied, the belly is satisfied, isn't it? So, but the Lord does not seek satisfaction from eating. The Lord does not derive satisfaction from seeing, because the Lord derives satisfaction when he sees his devotees pleased, right? That's why whatever the Lord does is for the satisfaction of his devotees, to give pleasure to his devotees. Whereas we perform certain things, even when we offer bhoga to the Lord, it's like, okay, but after 10:09 to 10:15, I have to break my fast. Okay, Krishna, please accept this offering. I can have Krishna Prasadam. So that is our enjoyment consciousness. Of course, it is nice to have prasadam, to have that longing for prasadam is also devotional service. But then we see the distinction between the Lord and ourselves, right? The Lord can simply glance and the Lord is eager to glance, because the Lord wants to give us that mercy, which is the Krishna Prasadam, right? Similarly, the Lord is pleased when we are so eager to call out his names, right? Because the Lord is more interested in our welfare, in us going back home, back to Godhead, right? So we should understand these are all mentioned here, because we should understand that we can never compare ourselves to the Lord. What we are servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have to remain in our constitutional position, follow instructions, and not imitate the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing well our position as a servant, like that. Okay, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. Vishnu does not require anything from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Thanks, Mataji.
Hare Bol Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vishnu does not require anything in order to create. He does not require the goddess Lakshmi in order to give birth to Brahma. For Brahma is born from a lotus flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu. The goddess Lakshmi sits at the feet of Vishnu and serves him. In this material world, sex is required to produce children, but in the spiritual world, a man can produce as many children as he likes without having to take help from his wife. So there is no sex there. Because we have no experience with spiritual energy, we think that Brahma's birth from the navel of Vishnu is simply a fictional story. We are not aware that spiritual energy is so powerful that it can do anything and everything. Material energy is dependent on certain laws, but spiritual energy is fully independent. Countless universes reside like seeds within the skin pores of Mahavishnu, and when he exhales, they are all manifested. In the material world, we have no experience of such a thing, but we do experience a perverted reflection in the phenomenon of perspiration. We cannot imagine, however, the duration of one breath of Mahavishnu, for within one breath, all the universes are created and annihilated. This is stated in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma lives only for the duration of one breath, and according to our time scale, 43 billion 200 lakhs years constitute only 12 hours. 4.320 billion years constitute only 12 hours for Brahma, and Brahma lives 100 of his years. Yet the whole life of Brahma is contained within one breath of Mahavishnu. Thus, it is not possible for us to imagine the breathing power of Mahavishnu, who is but a partial manifestation of Lord Nityananda. This is the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, explains in the 9th verse. In the 10th and the 11th verses, Krishnadasa Kaviraja describes Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, successive planetary expansions of Mahavishnu. Brahma appears upon a lotus growing from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and within the stem of that lotus are so many planetary systems. Then Brahma creates the whole of human society, animal society, everything. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu lies on the milk ocean within the universe, of which he is the controller and maintainer. Thus, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and when the time for annihilation arrives, Shiva will finish everything. The first 11 verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami thus discusses Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda as Balarama, the first expansion of Krishna. Then in the 12th and the 13th verses, he describes Advaita Acharya, who is another principal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Thus, Advaita Acharya is also the Lord, or more precisely, an expansion of the Lord. The word Advaita means non-dual, and his name is such because he is not different from the Supreme Lord. He is also called Acharya, teacher, because he disseminated Krishna consciousness. In this way, he is just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself, he appeared as a devotee to teach people in general how to love Krishna. Similarly, although Advaitacharya is the Lord, he appeared just to distribute the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Thus, he is also the Lord incarnated as a devotee.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, when we see this Pancha Tattva, the 5 features of the Lord, they are all devotees actually. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but what is his mood? He's come in the mood of Radharani, who is the supreme most devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. And Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Balaram serves Krishna in all the 5 rasas. Right? Whether it is Shanta Rasa or Dasi Rasa or Sakya Rasa or Vatsalya Rasa or Madhuri Rasa, all of the rasas, Balaram serves Krishna. And that Balaram has incarnated as Nityananda Prabhu. Advaita Acharya is Shiva and Vishnu combined. Vishnu is non-different from Krishna. Right? Prabhupada says Vishnu is like a high court judge in the office and Krishna is the same high court judge at home. There's no difference except for the 4 particular qualities: Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Prema Madhurya, and Parivar Madhurya that are there only with Krishna. Everything else between Krishna and Vishnu are the same. And Sadashiv, Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Shiva is the supreme Vaishnavan, the best of all the devotees. And the combination of Vishnu and Sadashiv is Advaita Acharya, who is again a pure devotee of the Lord. And then Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani. And then Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni, who gives Bhakti Shakti to anybody and everybody whom he meets, whether it is Mrigari the hunter, or whether it is Dhruv Maharaj, who is passionate with so much of desires, or whether it is Prahlad. Right? Everybody is given Bhakti Shakti simply by association with Narada Muni. So in this way, we see that all these 5 features of the Lord called Pancha Tattva, we offer a respectful obeisance to the Pancha Tattva because it is only by the mercy of Pancha Tattva that we can understand and take shelter of Krishna. We can serve Radha Krishna. Right? If it is not possible to please Radha Krishna without getting the mercy of Pancha Tattva, right? So in that way, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj is explaining in the first few verses the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the greatness of the Pancha Tattva, who are the munificent incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna. When we understand their greatness, then we want to follow their instructions. We want to follow in their footsteps as Anusharan, following in their instructions and not imitating them as Anukaran. Right? So that is the greatness of the Lord, and the greatness of his incarnations are described in the first few verses by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, and Prabhupada is giving us a part of introduction so as to set the mood for us to start studying the verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so we have 7 minutes left. Okay, Deval Mataji, you can read 1 or 2 paragraphs. Sudha Mataji can read and then we'll conclude today's session. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam.
In the pastimes
in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is manifested in 5 different features known as the Pancha Tattva, to whom Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraj offers his obeisances in the 14th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna and his associates appear as devotees of the Supreme Lord in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhara Prabhu, and Srivasa Prabhu. In all cases, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a source of energy for all his devotees. Since this is the case, if we take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the successful execution of Krishna consciousness, we are sure to make progress. In a devotional song, Narottama Dasa Thakura sings, "My dear Lord, Chaitanya, please have mercy upon me. There is no one who is as merciful as you. My plea is most urgent because your mission is to deliver all fallen souls, and no one is more fallen than I. Therefore, I beg priority." With verse 15, Krishnadas Kaviraja Goswami begins offering his obeisances directly to Krishna himself. Krishnadas Kaviraja was an inhabitant of Vrindavana and a great devotee. He had been living with his family in Katwa, a small town in the district of Burdwan in Bengal. He worshipped Radha Krishna with his family, and once when there was some misunderstanding among his family members about devotional service, he was advised by Nityananda Prabhu in a dream to leave home and go to Vrindavana. Although he was very old, he started out that very night and went to live in Vrindavana. While he was there, he met some of the Goswamis, principal disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was requested to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita by the devotees of Vrindavana. Although he began his work at a very old age, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he finished it. Today, it remains the most authoritative book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and life.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Dhanvat.
Patita pavana hetu tava avatara mosama patita prabhu na pai beara. In that song, Narottama Das Thakur sings, Masama Patita Prabhu na pai beara. You cannot find anybody more fallen than me. Hence, my claim is first. So the more we feel ourselves patita, the patita means the more we consider ourselves, we understand our position as being most fallen. To that extent, we'll be able to access the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, he was in his late 90s, actually very, very old, right? When he actually wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he was requested by the devotees, right, to write the Chaitanya, and it's considered to be the most, what is the word Prabhupada uses here? Most authoritative book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and life. So simply by studying Chaitanya Charitamrita, by reading this wonderful rendition by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, we'll be able to access the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva. And with that, we will be able to improve upon our devotional service. Okay, Sudha Mataji, okay, fine. I cannot see your hand up. Okay, fine. So let me read the last paragraph and I will complete. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was living in Vrindavan, there were not very many temples. At that time, the three principal temples were those of Madan Mohan, Govindaji and Gopinath. As a result of Vrindavan, Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his respects to the deities in these temples and requests God's favor. My progress in spiritual life is very slow, so I'm asking your help. The 15th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj offers his obeisances to the Madan Mohana Vigraha, the deity who can help us in progress in Krishna consciousness. Okay, Madan Mohan, Govinda and Gopinath. Yeah. In the execution of Krishna consciousness, our first business is to know Krishna and our relationship with him. To know Krishna is to know oneself, and to know oneself is to know one's relationship with Krishna. Since this relationship can be learned by worshipping the Madan Mohana Vigraha, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj first establishes his relationship with him. So, what is that? Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govindaji and Radha Gopinath. Radha Madan Mohan is Sambandha Vigraha. Then Madan Mohan and Govinda is Abhideya Vigraha. Abhideya means process. Sambandha means to have a relationship correct. And then Prayojana Vigraha is Gopinath, right? And Radha Raman, who's only deity, who is still in Vrindavan. The rest of the deity, Radha Krishna deities have all moved to Jaipur and Karauli and all those places. There's this very small Vigraha of Radha Raman, who actually represents a combination of Madan Mohan, Govinda and Gopinath. It is said the lotus feet of Radha Raman is that of Radha Madan Mohan. The navel or the chest of Radha Raman is that of Radha Govindaji. And the beautiful face of Radha Raman is that of Radha Gopinath. So if you have darshan of Radha Raman in Vrindavan, it is equivalent to having darshan of Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda and Radha Gopinath. That means to have knowledge of what is our relationship with the Lord. Radha Madan Mohan establishes the relationship with the Lord as Jivara Surbe Krishna Nitya Das, and Radha Govinda represents Abhideya process from Shravanam to Atmanivedanam, and Prayojana is Krishna Prema, which is reflected by Radha Gopinath deities. So in this way, and we also know Sanatana Goswami is our Sambandha Acharya, Rupa Goswami is our Abhideya Acharya, and Raghunatha Dasa Goswami is our Prayojana Acharya. So, and today is also Jiva Goswami's appearance day. So we can pray the lotus feet of all the Goswamis of Vrindavan that may our only desire be to serve, satisfy and please Guru and Gauranga. May we use all of this knowledge we are acquiring by this study simply to understand Bhakti Tattva and to perform our Bhakti in a way that's pleasing to Guru and Gauranga. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I'll request devotees can switch on your cameras if possible. We'll quickly do about a minute of Harinam Sankirtan. We'll end our session. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jai Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Jai Subhadra, Jai Jai Sudarshan,